take 56. No, I'm just kidding. Let's do, you do the thing, and then I'll do...
like explain about yesterday?
No, I was going to mean like the opening. Like,
oh, okay.
You know,
okay. Welcome back to Bathroom Tunes with Jeremiah and Amber.
It's like R&B.
Smooth jazz radio.
Yeah, smooth jazz.
Uh-huh.
Smooth jazz R&B.
I like it.
I do too.
Alright. Stage is yours, friend.
So, I have something from my awkward heart. I'm not even going to look at the camera.
Don't.
I'm just going to spit some bars real quick for you. It's an old song, but it's good. You should go listen to the rest of it.
What's it called?
Give you a little taste. It's called Joyful Noise. It's by Flame, featuring Lecrae and John Riley, I think.
Hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
I can by no means rap.
Just got this. You got this.
Right. Your boy's been a Christian quite a few years. Victory and faith, but I failed in my fears. I heard a lot of words that have tickled many ears. That's why I praise God for the word that he adheres. The word became flesh, lived for 30 years. Died at 33, but after days reappeared.
No, it's really good.
That was so goofy.
No, it was better than you thought it would be. It was good.
I was going to do the whole thing, but there's... You know what? You go listen to the song.
You go listen to the song.
You'll figure it out.
It was good. Show some love. Show him some love down in the comments.
I don't need love. I just needed to get that off my chest. I just wanted to let you know your boy's been a Christian.
Quite a few years.
Quite a few years.
You know how long he's talked about doing that? For like a week now. He's like, you know what I should do?
We kind of spitballed it. We've joked about it several times.
And finally, I'm proud of you. You did it.
I mean, I don't have shame, so...
Which explains why we're on take 2.
You know what? I do have shame. We're real, so let's just be honest. I farted.
The first take.
We were talking about me doing it, and then I was about to spit it, and then I just...
He nervous farted.
I just nervous farted. You know what? I'm okay talking about it. I just didn't want you to hear
it. That's fair. And I was so upset that we had to restart.
She didn't want to restart from my fart.
This turned out really well.
What's funny is, if she farted, I would restart it even if we were halfway through.
Would you though?
Man, would you restart a video for your lady if she farted and wanted you to restart it? Would she give you that same courtesy? Had to fight her on it.
Whatever. Okay. Alright, do you... Oh!
We went down a tier.
So, the box that I was sitting on is not empty because we had to take Finn's potty. It was his potty, the box that was delivered in. So we had to take that out. So now I'm back sitting on just half a toilet. And now Jeremiah is just compounding boxes on top of each other just to form.
It's called a compaction chair. I'm going to trademark it. It's pretty comfortable.
That's a verbal trademark.
That's a verbal trademark. That's binding in the state of Pennsylvania. But we're in Ohio, so it doesn't matter.
So we're not sure.
Yeah.
We have to look it up. All right, why weren't we here yesterday?
Because I don't feel like it's that important, but I started a new job today.
Mm-hmm.
For another concrete company.
Mm-hmm. Which is a blessing because the one he was working with wasn't working him consistently, and it was getting kind of difficult because most of you know.
Yeah, sure does.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so we need regular.
That's the Christian way to put things.
Income. Yeah, it is. Notice I took the high road.
You know what? You took the high road. I appreciate that.
There's a low road, friends. There's a low road, and it gets pretty dark down there. But we're gonna take the high road, and we're gonna say that that's why. But it is. I mean, it is why. But it's maybe like.
It is why. God, let's just say. Has God ever made you make a decision? You know what I mean? Not really like it's.
He created a situation in order to push you into a new direction.
To this specific job.
Which is not wrong.
Which is not wrong. Because there were reasons. There were reasons that I didn't want to do this job.
Huh.
Not for any means of struggling. It's just I was trying to make sure that trying to make sure I listen to God's will, because, you know, I take that verse in the Bible very seriously. I cannot quote it verbatim, but in all things, prayer and supplication to God, or something like that. And I always want to be in prayer with Him. I always want to take things up with Him. I always want to ask Him if I'm doing the right thing, because, I mean, you can call me wrong, and there's other people that probably don't agree, but I feel like God, I should make sure that I make decisions with God.
Right, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there's people that say to live your life, and like I said, I could be wrong. People say live your life, make your own decisions, but
all things.
I personally feel led because of that, in all things.
And I feel like I've also learned / heard, if it's important to you, it's important to God.
Right.
So it's important to you to make, and it's not like some small decision like, where are we going to eat? Like, Lord, please direct us which restaurant we're going to eat at.
Nothing like that.
It's not like that. It's life-changing decisions. It's decisions that are going to change the direction of our overall life. So I don't think there's anything wrong about seeking Him in prayer about that.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't. It's cleared us wrong in the past. If we would have if she would have took any job, so what happened? So God ended up making her.
Oof, that was rough.
Making her.
I got fired.
They wrongfully fired her. They found out.
I got fired from my job. Literally, was it weeks before we got married? Weeks before we were to move out and be financially stable on our own. Weeks before, pretty much the biggest life change I had ever experienced. And the one thing I was counting on, right, was to be able to walk into this marriage financially responsible and be codependent with Jeremiah. Well, then I lost my job. And I was distraught. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but
Sorry.
I literally, I kind of lost my mind and had a panic attack about losing this job, because I loved the job. I loved the job. And the office manager just up and called me, and I told her, no, I had called her because I couldn't find my car keys anywhere. And I was so stressed about it, about being late, because I was the one that needed to open that day. So I called her, and I could not find my keys anywhere. Come to find out, I had sat them down on the couch in the living room. Mom had folded laundry and happened to pick up my keys, carry the laundry up into her and Dad's closet and up in their room. There's no way I was going to look there for my keys. There was no other person that could have come and got me and took me to work. Everybody else was at work. So I was panicking, and she called me after I had called her and told her I couldn't find my keys. She called me and she said, if you're not here in 30 minutes, you're fired. And I was panicking for that full 30 minutes, and I called her back, and she was like, there's nothing I can do, and hung up on me. Yeah. So that was devastating, because I'm a people pleaser, and it broke my heart.
Come to find out.
But, and literally, I went on interviews, I filled out applications for months, and I couldn't find anything. And finally, I was like, you know what? I just need to be still. I need to trust God. And it was hard, especially because, not that they were wrong in it, but family was really, pushing me as far as, are you applying? What are you doing? Are you trying to do anything about this? Just because they care about our financial stability and everything. And it was hard to explain to them, I'm just trusting God. I'm being still and I'm trusting Him, because I knew that's what He was doing. Because literally every time I filled out an application, every time I went on an interview, the door shut. Every time.
And how long was that?
I think I want to
say 8.
Was it 8 months?
It was 8 months.
Yeah, it was 8 months. And then a girl I haven't talked to since high school messaged me, and I hadn't said anything to anybody about needing a job. And she said that Southwestern City Schools was looking for aides, and that I should apply. And I, took a shot in the dark and applied, and it was just kind of like a sub position. So I was like, okay, that's kind of low risk. It's based on when I want to work, and I can look at listings and decide, I want to work this day. And then there was a long-term listing that came up at Finland Middle School, and I swear I did not want to go to Finland. I was like, the school is probably terrible. The kids are probably terrible. I don't want to do this. And I just felt really pressed to go to Finland. And it was for an office aide, of all things. And literally within the first couple of days, I was in love with the culture, the kids, the staff. I loved my principal. And like, it was God all day. And I ended up being there for 4 years. I transferred from an office aide to being the librarian, the ERC aide. And I got to love on so many kids. I got to encourage so many kids.
Impacted so many kids' lives.
To be there for them, and it's all Jesus. And I think about what he allowed me to be for them is what he is for me every day. And they really, and like some of my church kids, like Kaylee Hopper and Mackenzie Hottishell, were at Finland with me. John Trays were at Finland with me. And that's time that I cherish, being able to be there with them during that period of their life. And I feel like I'm now so close to them, especially my girls, because of being able to be there with them through that. So it's hard to step out of the boat. Actually, we were just talking about that. Step out of the boat, right? And trust Jesus, step out onto the waves. But, oh my gosh, is it so worth it? And so I'm just confident that we are being faithful to what God has for us. And I know that it will all be beneficial to us, right? Because all things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purpose. So just, if you're struggling with being obedient to him because it seems like a total game changer and it's scary, just take the leap, because it's always worth it, because he will always take care of you through it if you're faithful. Because we've seen that 8 months was not easy.
Right, and if she wouldn't have listened and waited, she wouldn't have been able to go to that job, and she wouldn't have impacted those kids' lives. I mean, maybe she would have, but who's to say that if she didn't listen to God, it wouldn't turn out the way it was? Would God still use her in another position? Absolutely, but this is what God wanted for her.
Right.
She was faithful, she waited, and God was able to tell me to trust him as well.
Which was mind-blowing, because like for him, that probably was really scary for your wife to be just like, I'm not looking anymore, and you were like, huh, okay. But in a way, didn't it kind of prepare us for the season of life that we're in now?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you're our sole provider.
The whole phrasing, like, I don't know what it is, but he puts you through small trials to make you prepared and battle ready for the big stuff. And then battle ready for that into something else that you might have to help somebody else for in their life.
That's the truth.
It may not even prepare you for a battle you're going to face. You may be being in the battle to come out of it and then be like, I have the victory, and you see somebody else fighting a battle, and then you know what, I fought this battle, I know how this goes.
That's exactly right.
And you go and help them.
Yeah. Because I struggled with anxiety all through my preteen, teen years, young adult years, still, hello. And that experience allowed me to minister to the kids there the way that I did. The way that everything just connects through him is just crazy. And you know that only he could,
right?
Only he could put stuff like that together.
He has a very elaborate life plan for everyone.
Right. I couldn't work all that stuff out, which makes sense as to why he's like, let me just be in control, because you don't know what you're doing, so let me just be in control. And you're like, but he's got a handle on all of it.
All right, so we're gonna sing "God Only Knows"
by For King and Country.
And I wanted to say something real quick. I know we've probably talked a lot already, but when you think of "God Only Knows," I know that maybe some people, I myself, when I heard it on WNCI and not on like a faith-based channel, I'm thinking like, wow, there's probably people in the world that don't know that they're a Christian band, that probably just think they're saying it because we've all heard it. Somebody say, well, God only knows, And I feel like it has a worldly connotation, but as Christians, as born again believers that have a relationship with Jesus, we need to think of it in a way when you hear the song as like an intimacy, like God only knows that.
Right.
God only knows that. Not like some just catchphrase or something like, well, God only knows,
Right.
Because it's deeper than that.
Right. And it was written as they're a Christian group, and it was written for this purpose.
Right. Well, I just, yeah.
But
So
to be clear.
keep that mindset. Keep that mindset. It's an intimacy when the words are God only knows, because He only knows this about you.
Right.
Anyways, let's see if I can start the right key.
You can do it.
Wide
Wide awake.
Nope. I gotta find it.
You got it.
Wide awake. Is that it?
Just.
I'm just gonna sing.
I believe in you.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody would believe you. Every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories, they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody would believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what you say about you. God only knows. Yeah.
Do you want to start over?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know if I think I started too low. Like
You
this.
did. It was
'cause
hard.
when we practiced it, I was higher.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep.
Can I do that noise?
Too afraid of what might show up while you're sleeping. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you.
No, we gotta find it.
Every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the
just gonna
memories
sing
that
through it.
somehow never leave you.
Okay.
Nobody sees you. I'm singing your part. Nobody will believe you.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love that, there's a kind of love. You keep a
cover over every single secret.
This song's
So
difficult.
afraid if someone saw them, would you leave? But somebody
sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love that, there's a kind of love.
Sorry. There's a kind of love that, there's a kind of love.
For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. 'Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you.
God only knows the real you.
There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. There's a kind of love that, there's a kind of love.
There's a kind of love that, there's a kind of love.
God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. Started terrible.
It worked out!
ended pretty good.
I got your back. It's good. It worked out.
Sorry, people.
I jacked it up too. It's cool. Listen, this is why from the very beginning we have told you we record one time. We are transparent and we are not going to pretend to be perfect because we're.
Except for the fart, we restarted that one.
I forgot about the fart.
If there's ever a fart,
we will restart.
We will restart.
If there's a fart, we'll restart.
If there's a fart, abort. If there's a fart, we restart. I like that.
There you go.
Hello.
That is so rude. We're doing our show.
Yeah, we're doing our show.
Who was that?
It was Dorsey.
Shame on him.
Shame.
He should know. It's showtime.
I'm just kidding.
Well.
Synchronized coffee drink right there.
Beep. Well, friends,
Well,
that's all for today.
Got an extra 10 minutes of an episode since you didn't get one yesterday. Hopefully you...
Yeah.
See, this is the good though, because now you're more apt to watch a longer video because...
Listen, the people who want to watch are going to watch regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People who need to see it will see it.
Right.
That's why you rely on God. You trust God.
Because for a hot minute, I was getting really stressed out about like who's viewing, who's not, who enjoys the content, who doesn't. But then I was like, wait, Jesus told me to do this, so we're going to do it. And whatever it comes out to be is whoever needs to hear it. Right?
Correct. Right.
Right. This is kind of getting fluffy. We need to do something about that.
I asked you. Oh, okay.
You said you were growing it out, so you're going to have to push past the fluff.
Here's the thing. I'll grow it out, but I need this shorter because this, when I comb it, makes it look awful. Because look, watch everybody.
It's not been washed.
I washed it today.
Yeah, and then you sweated and
see
everything.
How it's poofy right here? If it was cut short in the back, everything would lie a whole lot more consistently. And then I can take this. Then I can take this and swoop it like this, and it'll look like that one guy in that one movie, and it'll all look perfect.
You know what would be great?
If I had a different hairline, I agree.
No! Oh my gosh. Okay, that's it. We should make a closing jingle.
A closing jingle.
This has been Bathroom Tunes with Amber and Jeremiah.
I feel like you should say like a talk show. Or like, what's our station channel? What's our fail?
What?
What's our station number? Dude, where's my car? Sure.
Amber and Jeremiah at 3146. The Sunflower. I like Sunflower.
Oh, that's nice.
It shouldn't be.
I meant like a jingle, like, you know, Americans Talk Show Radio. You know, something like
We'll work on it for tomorrow. Okay.
Bringing you content back to back.
We won't miss again, maybe.
Hopefully.
Promise.
We'll see.
Depends on
Just
how
kidding.
tomorrow goes.
The plan is to never miss.
Well.
The plan.
No, that's fair. Okay. Stop it.
The plan.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.